Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another Tune Chat here on Frontier Patriot. I am Ron Rayfield, and this is my lovely wife, Justine Rayfield. And today we have 2 pies and some mashed potatoes.
We got 2 pies today from no particular historic receipt. You know, sometimes I think okay, if I really want to be historically accurate, the truth is that most people back then did not actually cook from cookbooks.
So who would have been cooking from cookbooks? Would it be more wealthier people?
Well, oftentimes it was maids in middle-class households, some upper-class households as well, depending on the book. If it was a French book, it would have been upper class.
Ooh.
But a lot of these American published cookbooks were more for the middling class, which is us, the middle class. But, you know, most people did not cook from cookbooks. It's the same as today. So every once in a while, I like just throwing in some of Justine's own cooking, using ingredients and making dishes that are very plausible that could have been made back in the 1820s.
Mm-hmm.
So today I made a peach pie, I made a venison pie, and I made mashed taters.
It smells good and it tastes good. In case you didn't catch it, over on Early American, that's where Justine cooks all these delicious things. Over there, you can watch her cook it, and here you can watch us eat it. And as you've seen at the end of the video over there, we took a couple bites.
We've already been eating it.
Very good. Now I'm properly dressed for dinner. As you've seen, I came from the fields.
Dinner is technically at 1 o'clock.
Supper, sorry.
Yes. So breakfast was eaten in the morning. Dinner was eaten usually between noon to 1 o'clock in the United States. And then supper was a bedtime snack before bed, which in the United States was usually just bread and milk.
You know, my grandparents still called lunch dinner. They never called it lunch. They usually just said, hey, we're having dinner at, 12. Okay.
And for those of you that are super confused of what I'm talking about, what we're saying is back in the early 1800s and the 18th century as well, the word for lunch wasn't commonly used yet.
Okay.
At all. It was dinner. The word was actually dinner, but nowadays dinner means an evening meal. It's been completely switched around.
I don't know why.
I don't know why either.
Let's see. There's breakfast, there's brunch, there's lunch or dinner, and then there's got to be something in between.
Snack.
And then there's dinner or supper.
Yeah.
As we call it.
And then it's a snack.
And then there's more snack.
Bedtime snack.
And then there's midnight snack.
Man, how many times you eat in a day? You eating me out of house and home?
That's usually milk and cookies at midnight.
Okay, Ron, let's, we already prayed, but we're going to do it again.
Yeah, we're going to do it here.
We're going to do it again.
We did it on Early American, but we want you guys to be part of it, as always. So,
yes.
Want me to do it this week, or you want to do it?
I'm okay either way.
Coin toss.
We don't have a coin.
Invisible coin. Bing, call it.
Heads.
It's heads.
Okay, so that means I get to do it.
Yeah.
Dear Lord, thank you for this day. Thank you for giving us the strength and the wisdom to continue working on our house. Thank you for all the friends that are watching us today and the family. Thank you for this food. Let it nourish our bodies. Amen.
Amen. And speaking of house, here in a little bit, we're going to take you guys on a tour of our house that we've been building for the last few years. We're going to give you a complete walkthrough. I'm very excited about showing them that. But first, I'm going to eat some of this.
We wanted it to be a little more along the way before we showed it to you guys.
And we cleaned the place up a little bit.
We talked so much that it's become cold.
It is kind of cold. Oh, well. Speaking of cold, I wish it was cold. It has been so hot here in the Midwest, and I'll let you guys on a little secret. Normally we film these videos, edit, and put the Chew Chats out at night and the video out at night.
In one day.
Today is the 3rd day.
It's taken us 3 days to film this video. It
Day
never
1.
takes us 3 days.
Day 2. Day 3.
Now, why is that? Because every day...
It's been over 100 degrees here in Missouri. And I'm sure you know too, because most of you guys are from the Midwest area, according to the Google Analytics.
We just couldn't physically do it.
Everybody's experiencing triple digits. And it is hot. It's a killer.
We had to take breaks. Usually, we'll film everything in one day, but we could only film for 4 hours at a time because it was 100 degrees. Literally 100 degrees.
And I'll be more honest with you right now. Today is the 3rd day, yes, but it's not evening here. It is 8 a.m. and I'm already sweating. I'm sweating already. It is that hot.
Yep.
But good news is, in 2 days, it's going away, and the high is 82, 83. For as far as they can see, it goes back into the 70s, because last week we had that false fall, which was amazing. It was getting down 45 at night, and it was a high of 75 for a week long. We got a lot of work done, and we got the insulation in our house 90% done. We still got to do the attic, but we're waiting for the temperatures to go back down for
Mm-hmm.
that. But the walls are 90% done. We got to cut some special pieces and, you know, the
You
fun,
guys will see.
the fun part, yeah.
Now, I don't want you to review this meal because that just ain't polite.
But I was going to say something good about it.
Oh, okay. You're gonna sit here and review what your wife's cooking.
I will critique. This deer was killed at a good age. It's nice and tender. Shot clean through. Quick kill. Thanks to me. The butcherer
Right.
did an excellent job.
Oh, that's what you're reviewing.
No. It's really great. And you just use our 3 favorite herbs: sage, rosemary, and thyme.
I put that in everything.
It's amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Alright, guys. So you ain't gotta sit here and watch me chew because I'm gonna eat some of this. We're gonna go ahead and let you guys watch the walkthrough of our new house that we are currently building. Please enjoy.
Hello, welcome to our house. Okay, Ron just about tripped coming up these stairs. We haven't given you guys a house update in a very long time. Well, we've been working just about every single day. That's why we're still staying skinny despite eating all this food. And now we have something that resembles a house. Let me walk you through. This is the foyer. So when you first come into the house, this is what you're going to see. Staircase going up to the 2nd floor. And I designed this house. Now, there's no building codes out here. You could put a stove and a school bus out here and call it a house. Absolutely no codes. I literally drew the floor plan for this house on Microsoft Paint. And then we came out a week later and started building it. But I tried to design every room so that there is a cross breeze, at least the main rooms of the house. So there's the front door here, and then there's a back door. That way you can open up both doors, and you can get a very nice cross breeze. So this is the living room, the parlor. Definitely still needs some work. What you're seeing on the walls right now is insulation. We do not have the drywall up. That is the next step. We're about 80% done with the insulation. We still have to insulate the attic, and we have a couple pieces on the bottom, as you can see, that we haven't gone around to yet. But it is literally just Ron and I right now doing this, so we're trying our best. There is going to be a fireplace here in between these 2 beams, and it's probably going to be a brick fireplace. The house is going to have 3 functional fireplaces. These beams are going to be exposed. We are trying to build a house that looks like it is from around 1820, and we got inspiration from other houses within an hour's drive from here that were built between 1800 to 1820, and we're putting them all together into this one house. But at the same time, it's mostly just Ron and me and some family members building this house. So we did have to do some modern shortcuts with it. And that includes these beams here. It is not a true timber frame house. It is actually a modern style built house. And so we're going to cover these boards with a beauty board to make it look like it is a actual wooden beam. It's going to have wooden floors, which of course Ron and I are going to install ourselves. And these windows, Ron actually built these windows. He got the glass, and then he built everything else. You have to put a stick here to hold up the windows. That's how it is in these old houses, but they lift up very easily, and as you can see in this room, there's 4 windows, 2 on each side, which means there's a very nice cross breeze. Hey, while you're here, this is a secretary from 1790 to 1810. I am a fanatic when it comes to collecting antiques. Anyone who knows me in person knows that I have a bit of a problem when it comes to collecting antiques, and Ron certainly knows. I think I got it from my dad because my dad is a full-on antique hoarder. And this is the sofa that we had to travel all the way to North Carolina to get. And I got it at an auction. And I told Ron, guess what? I won it. He said, you won that sofa? He was obsessed with the sofa too. And then we realized, wait, how are we going to get it? This sofa has a story behind it. It has history behind it. This sofa was actually in the Senate chamber of the Capitol building, the U.S. Capitol building. It was made for the Capitol building after it burned down. So it was part of the new furniture made for it after that, after it was rebuilt. And I found out later that it was actually made for the bathroom, the powder room of the Senate chamber. I don't care. I think it's still absolutely gorgeous. And we have to reupholster it, of course. After it was in the Capitol building, it was in a tavern for a while in Alexandria, which is now long since shut. And then it was just in some private residences for about 100 years before it found its way to us. We're gonna head on over to the dining room now. Each side of the house is the same size, which is a very colonial style of architecture, and they were still doing it in the early 1800s with the concept of symmetry. So this is the dining room, and it has the two exposed beams again on the ceiling, and we are again in between these two beams going to install a fireplace. Right around here, probably a brick fireplace. I have my dining table out just to show you guys. It really helps to know the scale of rooms when there's actually furniture in it. This is a Hepplewhite style dining table dated 1790 to 1820 that we won at auction in St. Louis. And I go to auctions because it's where I can get antique furniture for the cheapest. And we don't have the chairs yet. Only came with a table, but that's okay because I love antique hunting. I'll find something appropriate eventually. Now, if we go through this hallway, this house is technically going to have two kitchens, which sounds very over-the-top luxurious, but let me explain it to you. This is the modern kitchen. Outside, we are building what's known as a summer kitchen. A summer kitchen is a detached building whose sole purpose was for cooking. And summer kitchens were a thing for hundreds of years. They died out not too long ago, actually, maybe around the 1890s, 1900. That's when you start seeing summer kitchens die off. But there's going to be a hearth, a cooking fireplace in the summer kitchen outside. The attached kitchen here is going to have a wood cook stove, and Ron insists on having a little gas burner in the corner for those hot summer days when he just doesn't want to fire up the wood cook stove. He's shaking his head right now.
It's a regular modern gas stove.
I don't want them to know that. This is what is going to be the modern kitchen. This is not our wood stove. It's just a little temporary one now. But one day I dream of having a big black Victorian wood iron stove sitting right here. And of course the sink is going against this wall. And behind you, it isn't there yet. Oh, the deadbolt's on. I wouldn't recommend stepping off just yet, but there's going to be a porch here. Now, if you want to follow me, we will go upstairs and I will show you the two bedrooms. The house has two bedrooms. We've left some room off to the side of the house because one day we do want to build an addition. But for now, we just want to move into this house already. So this is what we have. This is the second floor foyer, if you will. And there's the main bathroom of the house, which is where I'm going to end up spending most of my time. Because I'm one of those people where the bathroom and the kitchen are the most important rooms of the house. Do you think Ron will fit in that? Eventually, the outside front of the house is going to have a double-decker porch, which is a feature that started to become really popular once we get to the 1820s and the 1830s. But for now, we don't have that. It's kind of a luxury. It's not needed for us to move in, right? We're hoping that in a year's time, maybe we'll have the porch up front. But for now, we have a doorway built on the second floor, because in the future we are going to put a door here so that you can step out to the second floor of the porch. This is going to be the master bedroom. We have some pieces of furniture in here just to stage it for you guys. There's going to be a fireplace against this wall, a working fireplace. Our main source of heat, though, is going to be a wood stove in the basement, because old-fashioned fireplaces that don't have inserts, just open Rumsford fireplaces, are not very efficient at putting out heat. The oldest thing in this room is this tilt-top table. I got this on our honeymoon when we went to Virginia, and this is from 1770 to 1780. The top is a little warped, but my goodness, it sounds super bougie, but I just want to wake up in the morning, roll on the floor over here, and then drink my tea every morning here. $17.90. 1990s. This is actually a reproduction, but this is an original from the 1790s. And right across the hall is the one guest bedroom. This is what we're going to start out with until we build the addition one day. So I think it's a nice size. It has 2 windows in it. So you guys, this is the main portion of the house. I'm going to quickly walk you through the scary dark basement now, and then I will walk you through what the barn currently looks like. I forgot to mention that this window that's at the top of the staircase, if I open this window and if I have the downstairs front door open at the same time, it creates this breeze that creates natural air conditioning that's so violent it'll suck all of the papers off of your table. This is the barn that Ron and I have been building. I thought it was impossible for just one man and one woman to build a full-size barn. I mean, usually you see these barn raising parties with 20, 30 men coming together to do it. But somehow we've been slowly putting it together. We're about ready to start putting the plywood on the roof, and then we're going to have 10 for the roof. Not very period correct for the 1820s to have tin on a barn, even though some houses did have tin at this time. It was kind of a luxury. But we can't afford cedar shakes for the barn right now, so that's what we're going with just to get us by. Thank you guys for joining us for our house tour. Come back in about 6 months. I'm hoping everything will look completely different. The house is going to get painted in 3 weeks. It's becoming a very beautiful cream color. We're going to put green shutters on it eventually. And I'm hoping we can move in by Christmas time. I hope I did a good job. I just kind of winged it. And I feel like I talk too much sometimes. So I'm sorry if I talk too much.
I thought you were very descriptive.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
So what do you guys think? You like it?
Yeah, we still have quite a lot of work left to do, as you can see. But we are on track for moving in Christmas. Yeah, around Christmas time. Now, realistically, are we going to start filming our videos then in the new house on Christmas? I really don't know. Yeah, because the summer kitchen is a whole nother story.
It's a whole nother building.
It's a whole nother building.
You gotta build a whole nother building.
That's a whole nother building, and I just don't know if it'll be done by Christmas, the summer kitchen, so we might still be filming here, I don't know, a little longer than that.
I think that'd be okay. I'd like to spend one last Christmas here.
Okay.
It is a special one here. We really cut our teeth in here.
We did.
Before this... We were at other historic sites, and that was great, but the bulk of you guys showed up whenever we were here at the cabin.
Yeah, I've had people leave comments and saying, like, oh, I'm not going to watch you anymore once you leave the cabin. I'm going to miss the cabin.
That's
like,
rude.
Well, the thing is, people were saying the exact same thing when we left the Stevenson house. Which is where the first year of our channel was at the Stevenson house. And then we had to leave it. And then people were like, well, I miss the old house more. But, sometimes in life, there's changes.
Everybody.
Like, in life, there's changes. We can't live here forever.
Right.
And we got married, and we're moving on somewhere else.
Just like they would have done back then.
Just like they would have done back then. It's a major life change. We got married, and yeah.
You want to continue to improve.
It only happens once. I only got married once in my life. This is the last move I'm doing, and that's that.
Yeah, same here. After all the work we've done, we ain't moving. We ain't selling the place.
Yeah, but you caught us at a funny time because you caught us in the middle of our dating and our engagement and being married and moving into our new house. So we are going to move to a new dang house.
Yes. And maybe one day down the road, I might reconstruct this cabin. We can't take it with us. It's too fragile and cobbled together because I'm not a master craftsman. But it's going to stay here on my parents' property and it'll just be a hangout spot. But maybe one day down the road, I'll build a really nice one. If we ever have kids one day or grandkids, I could imagine them playing in a place like this in the woods. They'll be like, "Oh, this is so awesome!"
They would love to. This is the ultimate playhouse.
It really is. It's fun. And when we've had adults here too, our reenactor friends, and they come and see it, and they're like, "Wow, this is great." This is not an old building. This building is almost 3 years old, I'm planning on doing like a special episode on one of the Chew Chats in October to celebrate 3 years of being here. But this is not a 250-year-old cabin. It may look it because it's falling apart, but
yeah. Eventually, it's time for us to move on.
Yep. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that house video. We enjoyed giving it to you and sharing it to you. I know it's been a while since you guys have seen an update, but then again, it's been a while since we really had something to show, just with everything going on. And they seen that, and the walls have been the same for 6 months.
From the outside, it really looks the same,
But we are getting the house painted here in about 3 weeks. There's a gentleman that's going to come out and paint the house. He gave us a great deal on it.
It was such a great deal that it almost made no sense for us to paint it ourselves.
Right, yeah. I'm not going to get 24 foot up in the air on a ladder and painting. That's not me.
I was shocked at the price that he said, but then everyone gave us good references, so we're just going to have someone else paint it for us. It's going to be a cream color with dark green shutters, but the shutters aren't coming for a little bit later.
Right.
You're going to make the shutters.
Yeah, I'll make the shutters. But it's gonna look awesome. I can't wait to see it painted, and we will of course show you guys pictures, and we might even we'll ask the gentleman if we can film a little bit of him painting or whatever. Maybe we can do another one of those home building videos that we've done when we were operating machinery and stuff. But we'll see how that goes. But looking forward to seeing it in color, because right now it's just in primer, grayish white, and it's ugly.
Right.
But,
what the color you see on the outside is primer.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why you see all the edges of the siding boards and stuff. Once you paint it, you're not going to see any of that.
No.
I'm glad that you really like it.
I like it.
I'm glad that you do.
I always like it. How many times we made these? This is the third time I think we've made our third rendition of a deer pie.
On the channel, yeah. But in private, I've made this a couple more times, and I apologize that I'm not eating so much of it. I have this weird problem. It started, I don't know, like 6 or 7 months ago. When I caught influenza, like the flu. It was like 7 months ago. Influenza type B. It was really bad. I had like super, super high fever. Way over 100. I don't know, it was like 102 or something. It was pretty bad. And at the same time, I had infected wisdom tooth. Great times. But because my immune system was so shocked by all of this at once, I got all these sores inside of my mouth. Had no clue what they were. Went to like 3 different doctors, and finally I got diagnosed. It was just like fever blisters caused by having a very bad immune system.
On the roof of your mouth.
Yeah, on the roof of my mouth, and it made it impossible for me to eat. Like, it felt like I had open sores inside of my mouth. Everything I ate burned so bad, and just rubbing food against my mouth hurt so bad. And eventually, when the flu went away, they did go away. It took like 2 weeks.
But you changed your toothpaste too, and that helped, didn't it?
Well, ever since then, I've been getting these fever blisters. Like a sign of having a compromised immune system or something. I don't know what it is, but like every month now I've been getting at least one. And I don't know why, but right now I have a whole bunch of them again. And it's making it really hard to eat. And yes, I have another friend who has the same issue. Whenever he eats like acidic food, like vinegar or tomato or lemon or anything like that, he gets the same like sores in his mouth. And so he told me to switch to Sensodyne toothpaste, and I've been using Sensodyne toothpaste, and I guess it's been helping, but I'm still getting them every once in a while. So I have them right now. It's making it very hard to eat. Any advice out there for you guys that have this issue? It's only on the inside of my mouth. Nothing outside, nothing. It's only my mouth. It's like sores caused by having a very sensitive mouth.
Well, the last time our conclusion, our theory, was those pickles that we some homemade pickles somebody gave us, and they were the most acidic, vinegary. The most
acidic pickles I'd ever had,
And a couple hours later, she had them, so we thought it developed it, but we haven't had any pickles.
I haven't had any pickles, but I gotta be honest, I do eat hot sauce on food, and even, I don't know if I ate a cucumber recently, and it was like really crunchy, and I don't know if it like rubbing against the roof of my mouth did. I just don't even know what's causing it anymore. I don't know what's causing it.
It ain't me, it ain't my fault.
No, it ain't your fault. But when I did go to the doctor back then, they did tests on me, whatever. They thought I had hand, foot, and mouth disease like 7 months ago. The doctor said, nope, you just have an immune system that's making it so that whenever you get any irritation in your mouth, it's causing these sores to form. And I almost wonder if I got that from my mom. My mom doesn't get fever blisters, but she has very bad esophagus issues. Like, she can't eat anything that has acid in it at all. Even foods that I didn't think had acid, like chocolate. So she basically can only eat like yogurt, bread, cucumbers. And even milk will sometimes trigger it. So she has to be careful. She makes her own yogurt, by the way.
That's a horrible diet. I would die.
I do feel very sorry for my mom. She can only eat the same foods every day for the last 20 years. It's so bad. She has like nerve damage. in her mouth and her esophagus. No one knows what caused it, but I hope I don't have like issues like
I
that
hope not
where
either.
I have like really sensitive nerves or something in my mouth and my throat. I'm not sure, but that's why I'm not eating so much. I apologize. And I don't know if I can realistically eat that.
Oh man.
Because it's gonna be really crunchy and hard. And
Don't eat the crust. Just try
Okay.
it. Just try it by the filling.
Okay.
By the way, I'm ready to eat some of that.
Okay, let's do that.
Let's swap these pies out.
Let's swap these pies.
2 pies, 1 day.
2 pies, 1
That's how I like
day.
to do Hand me that pie, server woman.
Yes, ma'am.
How many months have we been married now?
4?
4 months.
We're still newlyweds.
Haven't killed her yet.
That's why I got throat damage and stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Actually, I feel like I love you more every month.
Oh, well, thank you. Like a fine wine.
Like a fine wine.
Age.
We are really...
Look at that. That's just beautiful.
Oh, that is really nice.
Holding together nicely.
We are really best friends.
Yes, we are.
I tell you all the time, you're my best friend.
Here's a piece of peach for you.
Thank you. I'll just eat it like that. Oh.
Don't worry. I'll eat the pie for both of us.
No.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
You ain't got to worry about not getting eaten.
May I use your rag?
Yeah. I haven't used it. Oh, man.
Peaches.
That's just like Grandma used to make.
Really?
Yep.
Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you.
These were fresh peaches, too, that we got from the Mennonite farm market.
I can't do peaches from the grocery store, man. They always taste like wood.
They're horrible.
They're horrible, and then when they get ripe, they just rot. I can only do homegrown backyard peaches, and
I'm just going in with like this. The fork ain't big enough to bite.
What is your favorite fruit for pies? Is it cherries? Is it blueberries, strawberries, peaches?
Okay, I have 2 categories for this. When I go to another restaurant and I've got to eat like one of those pre-made frozen pies or whatever, like from U.S. Foods,
Okay.
cherry pie all the way.
Now your family had restaurants, so he knows what he's talking about.
That's why I say the cherry pie is my favorite. It's classic. But as far as homemade pies go, peach is my favorite fruit pie.
You know all the ins and outs of restaurant. Like, he completely blew my mind when I started dating this guy.
I know all the dirty little secrets.
Yeah, it turns out that 99% of the time we go to a restaurant, the food that you're eating is actually pre-made and frozen, but they just add their own spices to it and make it different. But, like, the pies are almost always U.S. Foods.
Oh, yeah, they're all frozen.
It's a company.
They're all frozen. The only part that's homemade is the meringue on top, or sometimes they use the instant pudding filling. Unless you're like us, we actually cooked our filling, and you have to let it sit overnight and cool.
Right.
So.
But people will say it's a homemade pie, but in reality, it's store-bought chocolate pudding that they mixed up and put in a store-bought crust. But because they added it, it's homemade.
Technically, they made it, but.
You just blew my mind.
There's time and place for everything, okay? Budget, time-wise, and your demographic who you're feeding it to.
Because
are they cool with it or are they not? So
because like when we go out to eat, I'll be eating a tomato soup and I'll say, "Man, this is so good." And Ron will take a bite and he'll identify the company that made that soup.
Actually, some of the soups we had the same soup. The roasted red pepper from where was that at? Was that at Panera?
No, that's at a place in St. John. I don't want to say their name though.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's U.S. Foods.
That's U.S. Foods, and that's a family restaurant.
They're like a Panera. They serve the sandwiches and soups.
They're in St. John.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't make. A lot of restaurants don't actually make most of the food. Maybe 1 or 2 items.
Now here we make all the food.
Well, we have to. Who's gonna supply this stuff?
Nobody.
Who's gonna supply 1796 apple fritters, for example? No one's going to supply that.
This is fantastic.
Thank you. I'm glad you... Okay, you like that. That's good. That's good.
I love that.
I do love peaches.
I just need some milk.
Am I your peach?
Yes.
That makes me happy.
I love you.
I love you too.
I love you guys.
I love you too.
Not as much.
We don't want you to get jealous.
I love her.
We don't want nobody to get jealous now. Hey, how about we get into this week's weirdest history fact?
And that's a fun one. It's not weird.
It's like a random fact that you probably never thought of, and now you'll know.
Yeah. So this is a fact that you most of you probably never knew.
This week's weirdest history fact.
one drum roll.
Go.
Okay. Now this one's been flying right under your nose because you guys know who George Washington is, right?
Heard of him.
Everybody knows who he is. Everybody's seen his picture. Everybody's seen him in movies and shows and stuff. But have you ever seen his true hair color?
What is George Washington's real hair color? It's not gray, by the way.
It's not white. Every documentary, I'll say 90% of the documentaries and movies and shows and whatever portray him as old man President George Washington during the Revolutionary War, and he's got white hair, or he's wearing a wig.
He wasn't even old during the Revolutionary War, was he?
He never even made it to the age of some of these actors that are portraying him.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
How old was he during the Revolutionary War?
I think around 40.
Okay, when it started.
Yeah, he was born in 1732, so do the math to, he would have been 42.
And before you say,
43.
well, didn't people only live to be 20 back then? That is a myth,
False.
and I think we've already tackled that myth on this channel.
Yeah, if you take the census poll during a war, yeah, there's a lot of 20-year-olds dying. But anyways, back to my fact here.
It was in the 70s, by the way.
If you guessed red hair, you were correct. He was a redhead.
He was a ginger!
He had a carrot top ginger, yeah.
Yeah, George Washington was a ginger.
And you wouldn't know that by looking at paintings because most of the paintings portray him with white or gray hair. They don't show the red. I don't know if red wasn't flattering back then, so they tried to hide it maybe, or... I just don't know.
I don't know. I know in earlier times, red was a very desirable hair color. Like if we're going to Elizabethan
she had
Shakespeare,
red hair, didn't she?
She did. And when she didn't have quite the best hair at times, she even wore a red wig. So at one point, red hair was the most desirable hair color in Europe and the Americas. But
well, here's a picture.
18th century?
Here's a picture from Mount Vernon. They posted the other day of a lock of his hair. Oh. And you can see it's amber red.
Oh, that's amazing.
Pretty cool. He also never wore a wig to discredit that as well, too. So when you see somebody portraying George Washington in a movie and they're wearing a wig, I mean, of course, people don't have hair like that anymore, but if they make it look distinctively like it's a white powdered wig, they didn't do a good job.
Oh, and he didn't have whalebone teeth either.
No. He had horse teeth, he had ivory,
and
other
real
human teeth.
Human
I think he had like one of his original teeth left, maybe. Unfortunately, I mean, it's hard to imagine somebody so prestigious as that gentleman with no teeth.
Well, he ate a pretty solid diet. I mean, of a ton of alcohol and sugar.
But let me put this in perspective for you. Let me use you as an example.
Yes.
Okay, we know how beautiful Justine is and radiant and all that.
Oh,
we see her on TV, we see her in pictures, but if you met her in person...
What are you going to say? I'm ugly in person?
No. I'm using you as an example because George Washington's done dead. We see him in paintings and on TV, portrayed and stuff. He's got perfect teeth in all the movies. In the paintings, he's got perfect teeth. But in person, you meet the person, so... Just imagine meeting that person, but it's completely different. Yeah, I've got no teeth. I can't imagine it because it's instilled in my mind that
he looked a certain way.
Yeah, and that way is without red hair because we never see it portrayed with red hair.
Yeah. So maybe you've heard the story that he had fake teeth and he had whalebone teeth.
Wooden
teeth. Wooden? You're right. I've heard it was wooden teeth. Wasn't
We've actually seen one of his
teeth.
Dentures on display at Mount Vernon.
Yeah, they still have it. It's not wood. I think some of the apparatus might have wood in it. I'm not sure, or maybe it's all metal. It looked like metal.
That one looked metal. I think. There might be a couple pairs of
So I don't know where the wood teeth thing even came from, but they're not wood. They're actually real human teeth.
Some are, yeah.
But they're other people's teeth that got sold.
Either way, it looks very crude and painful to wear.
It looks very, very painful. I mean, if you thought that inserts and dentures were painful today, I can't even imagine having this in my mouth and eating with it.
Yeah, there ain't no polygrip put on these things or whatever it's called.
That would just tear into your gums, wouldn't it?
I have a freaky story. It's disgusting, but it's too fun. It's just a memory that's popped in my head.
This week's freaky story.
I was probably, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years old. I was at my grandparents' house. My grandpa had dentures on both top and bottom. he did this trick.
Oh no.
Where, I'm sorry to even say this. He's gone now, so rest his soul. Somehow he was able to kick those dentures out and go. Tuck, 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 tuck. It was freaked me out.
No, I would not have liked that.
It's just a random thing that popped in my head.
Oh, I would not have liked that.
Oh
You
boy.
poor boy.
Anyways.
Jeez. Yep.
Hey, speaking of scary, spooky stories, we only got a couple more days left of August. We got pumpkins already.
We grew these pumpkins.
Yes.
I am so proud. I'm sorry. I gotta brag on these pumpkins for a little bit. We grew them at our new home place that we're building, and even though the garden is far from being presentable, we have random things growing out there.
What garden? I mowed it down the other day.
Yeah, you did.
That was the last pumpkin we pulled off of there.
Yeah, but before then, I grew these pumpkins from seed packets that I got from the Mount Vernon. No, the Monticello. The Monticello gift store. I've had these seeds for a year. You can order them online.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're gonna do them again next year, but do them better. But these are nice little sugar pumpkins.
Yeah, they're little sugar pie pumpkins. That's why they're small. They're made to be this small.
But back to my story. Halloween's coming up. So spooky season is upon us, and that is our favorite season because it is nice and cool. It is very pretty. The food is extra delicious, and the smells are great, and it's just spooky. But anyways, speaking of that, on October 26th, if you're looking for a really awesome glimpse into history, if you will, St. Genevieve, the memorial cemetery that is from the 1780s, is hosting their annual Deja Vu Spirit Reunion. And that's on October 26th. It starts at 5 o'clock and it goes till 7:30, 8 o'clock-ish at night. We portray a person that is buried there in the cemetery. So we dress like the people and we talk to them, or we talk. Some people were in first person, some were in third person. I'm gonna try to do first person this year.
It's a kid-friendly event.
It's not spooky.
No,
but it's
educational.
It's educational, but it's really fun. And they got lanterns for guests to carry around with because there's no lights out there. It's dark, and we'll have lanterns and torches and such. So that's an event to keep your eye on.
Yep, we've been wanting to do this for years.
I've only got to do it one time. All the other times, thankfully, but unfortunately, I've been booked for a wedding on that weekend. And they usually show up last minute, the month of. They say, hey, we're getting married on this date or whatever. They always do it the weekend before Halloween.
He's a wedding photographer,
and this year,
by the way.
There's nothing scheduled, and I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave it that way. I'm not going to, unless it's a really good deal. But I told the lady, I was like, I'll be there this year. I know I've told you that the last 3 years in a row, but this year, nobody's called me yet, so I should be able to be there this year. I've only done it once, and it was really neat.
Oh, and if you're getting married in the St. Louis area...
yeah, call me.
Call Ron.
Let's talk.
He's the cheapest wedding photographer, but he gives the best pictures. And
I have the quickest turnaround time.
You give the pictures back in like a week.
Yeah, 7
Everyone
days.
else is 3 months.
7 days.
Right. People ask all the time, what do you do outside of this? Very random jobs. Very
Man of many hats.
Yeah. Before I started doing this stuff, I was mowing lawns.
Mm-hmm.
I worked for the Department of Natural Resources over in Illinois at a museum, but they own the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers, and so I had to take care of 70 acres, and it was a fishing spot, so I had to empty out all the trash cans with the fish heads and clean all the trash, and I had to clean the toilets.
You were a maintenance man.
Maintenance woman. I was the maintenance woman of the site, and on top of it, they also wanted me to do tours.
Man.
So I had to weed eat. I had to immediately jump off of the mower after mowing for 4 hours. It was like a non-stop job. And then I had to give a tour covered in grass and then jump back on the mower and finish. It was non-stop.
That sounds exhausting.
It was hard, but I'm the kind of person I cannot sit still. It drives me nuts.
We can't sit still.
We can't.
It'd be 8 o'clock at night and if we're bored, it's like, okay, let's go do something.
Yeah. It didn't pay very well, but it taught me a lot of very valuable experiences that I think a lot of people my age would not want to get close to, but it
should.
But it taught me how to be
you.
Be responsible and self-sufficient and take care of my own dang self, So, we do a lot of random, very different jobs.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap it up, guys. Like I said, this is the third day of filming. We got to edit this video and get it out tonight so we can see you guys. So
Right.
we're going to get out of here. So have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next week. Remember, we're back on Wednesdays now. We love you guys. Take care.
Take care, guys. Bye-bye.